I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Mr. Boria?
Here.
Mr. Blanton?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here. Can I get a motion for the acceptance of the minutes from March 19th, 2025, regular meeting of Board of Trustees? We will make a motion for the acceptance of the minutes from the March 19th, 2025, regular meeting of Board of Trustees. A second.
All right, Mr. Boria?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes. All right, administrators report, Mr. Brett.
I'm going to start off with good news. All three villages have agreed to the fire and EMS contract for this year. They're all signed, sealed, delivered. So
Good. To all the villages too.
good to all the villages, and we owe Mr. Borat a lot of gratitude.
Good,
The work
well,
you've done.
thanks. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate it. This was very, very time consuming and I don't think of the word could be this stressful. Stressful. It's a good word. Very stressful. I wasn't even involved in negotiations at some point, but it was stressful for myself. It's like, good Lord.
Addison got theirs signed at about 7:30 or so.
At least we got all three villages in it because we have friends, we have family, and that live in all three villages besides the township. So it's critical.
Yeah, the
Critical.
township.
Yep, and that needs to happen also. So, all right, go ahead, Mr. Brown. Sorry.
No problem. As we mentioned, the levy, the first public meeting for the ambassador meeting is tomorrow night at 6 here in this building, but we're actually going to try to hold it in this room so we can record it and put it on our website. And if we get more people than we'll fit in here, which I hope we do, we'll get a big room.
Can I ask a question? If the weather's bad, what are you gonna do? They're predicted to be bad weather.
It would have to be pretty bad before I think we would cancel it, but
Oh,
you know, we're not going to have the people come
I
out.
think it's supposed to be tonight, early, if it was tomorrow. But
Yeah, we got our newsletter out, and I look for people to show up, but I don't look for that many people.
No.
Because our newsletter is very informative of the fire department levy. So, and I think a lot of the questions and the breakdown we had in there this time around was, I thought it was
We have the
really,
information on the website.
really well. So I'm sure people will show up. I can't see us canceling it. It's 6 to 7, correct? So I can't see us canceling it at all. You know, people are gonna make it if they need to. They can still reach out, call us on ourselves, call Mr. Brett or call Ken and get the questions answered, so.
And then we will have another opportunity on Saturday, 26th, if they want to see us in person before they actually have lunch.
You decided not to do one at the senior center? I brought that up a while back. So if you wanna,
Yeah, we decided to do it here.
okay.
Good.
All right, next on my list, the Jordan Road water line. There've been some tense moments and negotiations in place. However, I did talk to their administrator this morning, and we're going to get together and discuss that, see where they are financially for their portion of that next week. So we should know for sure where they can be within a week on that. So I think that's good news.
Want to comment on that real quick. So as far as the board is concerned, the township is concerned, that we are prepared to move forward with the water line on Jordan Road. We have the engineering plans that are already been completed, and we set this up at least 4 or 5 years ago to do all the roads that didn't have fresh water and fire protection in the township. So this is one of our last ones. So we, as a board, are prepared to go forward with this water line. So, Mr. Brown.
Just because, well, we were doing this anyway, but trying to talk to Mr. Bullard about this morning because it kind of fell on fire. And we were discussing the Addison contract in North Bend. We have two ways we can go with the fill station, because we still plan to put that in down at the park property. And assuming that the water line is gonna go through, I think there's gonna be less people that need it. So maybe rather than put the most expensive system in that worked well, did credit cards and everything, we might go with more of the honor system and the trail cam too. So we get a picture every time somebody uses it. So we had a system approved for 10 Naira, and I'm gonna see if we can get a credit card reader with it. But we are gonna go ahead and still do that, get that going, hopefully sooner than later. Any questions on that?
So the change is just to pare down the price and this capability of it, but still do it, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so instead of having a credit card reader that would basically transmit the stuff back to us, the pump that would make the pump faster. We're not gonna be filling a lot of vehicles and things. Police waterworks has great pressure. So we can just do a gravity system without a pump. Okay. And when I meet with Justin next week, I'm gonna ask him about going ahead and applying for tap for that.
So I know, I guess the vendors that probably sell because the concerns brought up in the past. Are we less concerned about that now, or is that? Because I do like to see us being more cost conscious, but I know that was brought up as a concern a bit more longer.
Well, we talked about when it was gonna go on the police property, they wanted just township residents to use it, because it's gonna be on our park property. And we're gonna pay for it, we can open it up to anyone and they'll let them pay for it with a credit card. And, if we can get that system in cheaper than the one that would do everything like we're gonna do for the police property, I think we should do that. At least if a commercial water hauler wants to come in and fill their truck there, then, we'll have a rate for different size tanks and, we can make some money back on it hopefully and eventually cover our costs.
Sounds good.
So I'll have more on that at the next meeting for you. Nick Crosley is not confirmed that he'll be at the next meeting yet, but he is back from his trip, so I still expect him to be here at our next meeting to talk about Alert Hamilton County. The next item is, we talked about this at the last meeting, for our building security. There are some new cameras that are out for COTA. And we did a walk through the building, looked at some new cameras and some different ways of doing things to get better coverage. Still with the discounted price and the financing, the new proposal from them came in at just over 56,000 at 56,778. So we're almost 52 last time, and that's just for this building. Because of the vandalism and things that we've had at the other buildings and the security concerns there while they're offering this discounted price. I'd like to have you authorize me to go ahead and negotiate with them for the other buildings. I can work with Mr. Robinson as the facilities liaison to make sure we get what we need on those. And if you're okay with that, I'd like to be able to go ahead and tentatively order on that at one time. So.
So this covers, tell me what this covers.
This would get us the cameras at the 3 firehouses, the town hall, and the senior center, as well as this building. Also, West Park, and we'd be replacing those cameras. And they actually have a new, I'm not sure how new it is, but new to us because they didn't think it would work before. They're going to look at the site at June Park, and if we can can get enough line of sight through the trees, they have a system that we can just basically transmit back to the firehouse and then the end of the system. If not, they also have a cellular system, so it doesn't have to go solar, so it's not so expensive. We'll probably need at least one camera, I think, down there, maybe two. But we'll see what the experts think of that. I think that's going to be well worth the money spent.
So this total price is 56,788.
For this building.
For just this building?
Yeah.
What?
56,000.
We're just approving for this building tonight.
Well, and
What are you asking us to do? What are you asking us to do?
I'm asking you if we can go ahead and so we can get this rolling. Go ahead and get everything worked out for the other two and have Mr. Oakson and I approve that. Or if we want to wait until next meeting to approve that final number, we can do that.
So if it's 56,000 just for this building, it's gonna probably be nothing. Everything else, another 50.
I would think that it's going to put us right back where we were originally before we got the discounted price. And they are still offering the 0% financing, so pay it over 5 years. We wouldn't have to pay that all upfront.
Is that where the 11,000 comes in? But that's just for the 56, that's not.
Yeah, they will do it for all of them, whatever we order. And if we do that over a 5-year period, anything we add in the next 5 years, they will put it on that contract at 0% and just, if they would spend $30,000, they'd have 3 years left, they would just add $10,000 a year. We spend $3,000 and lend $300. So, your plan, real with whether you want to go ahead.
Any
I
other
would
questions
definitely
on
do
the
the
board?
0%.
Discussion.
Well, again, I think it is a large number. I got a little sticker shock, but I also feel like it's just also somewhat the cost of doing business today. And I think we do need to have these capabilities and these, again, with the vandalism, with the security concerns for the safety of our employees and their vehicles and all that other stuff. I think it is a priority to me. So whether the rest of the board wants to authorize Brett up to a certain amount, or if we just approve this and say come back, or this generic, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of open to suggestions, but I would like to see us upgrade it sooner rather than later.
And obviously, before we do anything, I would send the final pricing to all three of you.
What's the warranty on the cameras?
10 years.
10 years?
Steady.
If I can offer input as an office manager with regards to these cameras, in speaking with Proline, the new group that's coming in, excuse me, what you're looking at is the cameras 100% 360 around this building as a whole, which currently we have 4 to 5 blind spots that we cannot provide coverage for. It would cover that. It minimized cameras in some areas because of the upgrade on some. So whatever we have for this building in the way of numbers of cameras is not going to surpass what we would do at any of the other buildings. So if you just almost doubled where you are, if not less, that's what you're looking at overall for the entire campus of Miami Township, for every building that we have. Very affordable, stretched out, and these guys' customer service is completely unmatched. With the amount of vagrancy that we've had at some of the other locations as well as here, the amount of time that it takes to review our current camera system and the quality of the camera system will save, I can't even tell you how much time to go through, because it's motion detected that you can skip. Whereas currently you have to sit there and review the entire thing. Not to mention, I feel like the turnaround time and the expediency of customer service and getting things resolved is significantly better.
In the blind spots that you spoke about, have you found that there was vandalism in those areas?
No. Doesn't matter though.
Look, Mr. Laura,
I guess one question for this building, will that cover that trail backside of the building? That's always been a concern for me.
It will, and he, the original proposal was to put 2 cameras on top of the building. And the gentleman who was explaining the new cameras to us, and the problem with that is it's so high, you don't get a real good look, and when that area gets free, then it gets difficult. So his suggestion was to put 2 cameras out at the corner of the parking lot. We have electric out there, so we can easily get electric to those, so they don't have to be cellular. And see how that does when it gets free. And then if we need to put something on the back end of the trail, we can always add that with the cell or with their direct. You recall what he called that unit?
Multi.
So they have a,
It's called a multi-cell where it offers different angles, but he's got the one set in the parking lot that would cover the front end of the walking trail and majority of the field walking back. The hindrance at this point is that the trees are so lush, the top back is not as visible, and that's what he's saying. You can add on something. It doesn't have to be immediate, but we can add something there down the road. But on the back side of the firehouse and event center, where he's proposed a different camera system or camera view, it will pick up a lot of this side, which is where the new condos will be kind of on that end, as well as the new UDF and all that. So I think he covered it very, very well.
at least as well as we think it needs right now, but once we actually get it
We
up,
can
and
always
freeze
add.
it green this summer, we'll see. But there's no sense in buying something if we don't need it.
correct. All right, we have a motion.
Well, Going with just the 56, or are we giving up to a certain limit, or what do you guys?
I would feel more comfortable with the 56 and then back next meeting with a better ballpark together. Good stuff is gonna be.
No, what do you?
We can still negotiate fixed terms and we can still negotiate with the
Yeah.
terms.
Yeah,
Get this done.
Yeah,
And we
I
could
think this will just show.
we'll still take care of it.
Right.
Next meeting.
No, that sounds good. I will make a motion that we approve the $56,780 dollars and 75 cents for Verkada that will be at 0% financing over 5 years.
Second.
Mr. Boring?
Yep.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
So just to quickly touch on the upgraded AV equipment for this room is ordered, not in yet. We talked about transient vendor permits last meeting, and Kim received her first permit application on Monday, so that was final. I had mentioned that we were having a department directors meeting, and all our department heads were here. The sharing of information between the departments I thought went very well. Getting some good feedback on things that they could do working together and how they can let each other know what needs to be done. We're setting that up. So that was very successful. On your agenda tonight, I had a resolution to adopt the International Property Code Maintenance for 2025. 2025 is not published yet, and Alex and John Roach at Cross Run and Todd were working on that. They just couldn't get it done in time to match up all of the new numbers with what's there. So I'd like to put that on hold until the next meeting.
Definitely, because we need discussion.
Yeah, I was gonna read through it tonight, but we're gonna put it on hold. I'll send it to you. What Ed sees as the advantage of having this, and it will allow us to do some things, like there's a house down on Numerator that the siding's been off of, or that's since Dan was doing this.
2 years, actually.
And, I'm sorry.
That's me.
Oh. So technically, under just zoning requirements, it's got to covering behind the sheeting and, or over the sheeting behind the vinyl, which is technically all they have to have, although it looks like, you know what, and, eventually that stuff is gonna go bad, they're gonna have to fix it all, and apparently the guy did property maintenance, but doesn't take care of those lights as well as some lights. But, this property code will give us a little more bite with that, and also addresses some additional language for barking dog and noise complaints. So I'll have that to you next week, so you can have a week to look at it. I apologize for just, we just couldn't get it done for this meeting, but I really wanted to, so we could do something with that particular home. And several others that's working on. I was excited when he came in this morning and said, hey, they can dumpster down on Numerator. And I'm like, oh, good, the siding guy. He said, they're the other guy that we talked to. So at least one of them's getting done. So I'll have that for you next time.
Can I address that? Can I
Oh.
address
Dave, you okay?
Yeah, that's fine, go
it?
ahead.
Okay, since I spoke with Ms., well, first of all, this all started 2 years ago. I was up here 2 years ago and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. Now he's got a trailer in the driveway that he doesn't use. He's got a pickup truck that he has all kinds of stuff hanging out of it. And when he goes to work on a job, I don't know if he goes out of town or what he does. What he doesn't want in the back end of the pickup truck, he just throws in side yard, which is yard, part of the yard, it's a mess. Now he has a dog that if he put in a new fence, why he put it that far off the property line, I don't know. So our vinyl fans had to come in to meet this fence. So my son-in-law and my husband were out trying to put the extra piece up the other day and the dog came out. He stands this tall on his hind legs. I thought he was gonna eat my husband and my son-in-law's face off. Finally knocked on the door and he answered the name and the nice way he would not get the dog. He did. They came in, took a 15-minute break and the dog was back out again. Like I said, you know, since I spoke with you, I was telling you about that piece of siding. It was hanging. Well, it hung and hung and hung. And my husband's actually picking up the pieces as it goes. The piece hung and hung and hung, beat against the house, kept us up at night, kept our neighbor across the street up at night. Well, after I spoke to you, it finally came down. When it did, it came down this way and sparked from my face. And something to do.
Well, hopefully with, the new regulation, we can get a little more aggressive with folks like that.
Jason should be able to take care of the trailer in the driveway.
So, yeah, well, if it's not licensed, if it's licensed, you can park it in the side yard,
Right.
not in the driveway.
So are we notifying Jason of this stuff?
When we,
In vehicles, because if we're not, we need to start.
well,
If we are, then
if we're doing a lot of other things, we're taking care of it ourselves. If it's something where that's the only thing there, then we're notifying him. As long as it's just things that he can do, we're notifying him. Otherwise, if we're sending him a letter anyway, we're listing it all.
we can't cite anyone. And Jason has the authority to cite.
Correct. But if it's a nuisance, if it's part of the nuisance, then we can't.
The trailer in the driveway is a nuisance. That's what she's talking about.
Okay.
So we need to email him.
He also has a cord, we have like a telephone pole between our two houses. There's a cord that's been coming down for a year and a half now. It comes down, touches the ground, goes back up to his house. I don't know what the cord is, it's probably nothing dangerous, but my little grandson, 4-year-old grandson got away from me the other day and got all snarled up in this line. This man doesn't know he gets anything but, he doesn't even know there's anything else on the property. And it's just, and I've lived there since 1972, taking good care of my home. And I just, in the back of my head, I think if there's not some kind of an ordinance to stop these kind of things, what if everybody wanting to township?
So is the regulation, to reiterate what he said, what it used to be is that the trailer, boat, whatever, would have to be in the back of the property. He's saying the side of the property, which is.
I think it's a sign.
It's probably licensed.
To the best of my knowledge, county
It
code,
didn't matter before if it was licensed or not. We had a vote, I had a vote and it was licensed. And the property did not allow me to put it in the back. It was on the side, and we got cited. We actually got cited when it was like 30 days to move it. So,
But Jason was the one to make.
Jason would be the one who would do that.
That's why we.
Did you have a
Got
driveway?
a contract.
yes, it was on our driveway was to the side of the house, but it needed to be in the back, is what was said.
All right, let's,
So,
hold on, let's get back on track here. All right, Mr. Brett, go ahead.
All right, just so everyone knows, because of the new lighting district that, Indian want. Kim started digging into all the different bills that we get and where they come from. And actually found somebody at Duke that's been extremely helpful. So she has been consolidating lighting district bills together, our bills together, and you're down, how many bills now? 12, 13?
Yeah,
So
close.
we had 20 some odd to start,
More than that.
so maybe 30. So hats off to her for taking the initiative to do that. And thank God we found somebody at Duke that is very helpful. Let's see. The other thing on your agenda for this evening, and you don't have to do this evening, but I want you to be aware of it. Most everybody by now knows that computers with Windows 10 are going to not be serviceable, I think October. And we have a proposal from Bella for our new IT people to replace the ones that they've looked at, and I think they still need to see the 3 trustees units. Yours is supposed to be doing, it's not. So they just want to get us a number so that we can look at that, and we are going to have to upgrade those units at a minimum. So
These are the immediate need, not the overall.
we just, what I asked them to do was get us what we have to get to replace those. So that's $17,580. So if you'd like to go ahead and approve that tonight, you can. It's not urgent, but we do it right now. So if you want to wait, that's fine.
So it's 12.
Correct.
Any discussion from the board? Mr. Rankin?
No, again, I see this as a critical need for the operation of our township.
Mr. Borat? All right, we've got a motion for the board.
Since IT really,
Yeah, I mean, is this, the entire cost of 17,580?
Yeah, for those 12.
Okay, I'll make a motion to move forward with the Bella Cord for $17,580.16.
I will second.
All right, Mr. Walren?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Blanford?
Yes.
So, the transition from Belleport, from IMS to Belleport is moving along. Quite honestly, IMS is brushing their feet on some things. Again, Mr. Borat, he got the short end of the deal good night, IT and fire, this year, but, he's put a lot of time in on that as well.
Season veteran.
So, anyway, I just wanted to thank him for his help with that. We've actually had some things where we've had to send emails or something on letterhead to get an IMS to release things to Belleport. And normally they tell us that that wouldn't happen, but we're taking care of it. It's moving slowly but surely. And the new folks are a lot more responsive, good to work with. So I think we're going to be happy with that move once we get it all done.
Frustrating that IMS is acting that way, behaving that way, but glad we're moving forward.
So the last thing I had under new business was, I'm not sure when Tim actually found out about this about a year and a half ago. There's a small piece of property at 4076 East Miami River Road that crosses the street from. Tim found out about this about a year ago, and Mr. Blanton got in contact with the owner of the property about 3 or 4 weeks ago. 3 or 4 months ago, and they've been talking back and forth about what she wanted for the property, and
So let me interrupt you real quick. And I want to move forward with this, but so we need, when we go to approve this, do we have to put in an amount? Because my thing is, if we put the amount on record and we don't have a signed contract, if someone outside of the township goes to her and say, hey, they want, well, we know we want it because I've talked to her. She's willing to sell us this. My point I'm trying to make, and they go to her and they say, oh, well, we'll give you more money. How do we avoid that right now?
just approve me to negotiate the
Okay.
price and have Alex draw the paperwork for the closing.
All right, with that, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just didn't want the price on the record yet.
Or we could go to executive session if you want to discuss the price.
Well, I think they know it. You know it, I know it.
I do, and I was comfortable with that price. I don't know if I'll be comfortable with
Obviously,
just giving,
if it changed, it would have to come back to you.
That's the point. So we don't-
right, I get what you're saying, and I understand. I guess I thought there was a deal in place.
There is. But
But
not
it's
a
hard.
contract. That's the thing.
Right.
That's why I don't want to go down the record. We
I
can
understand.
approve up to. Just give that,
Why don't we give Jim the opportunity
the
to
authority to
negotiate?
the contract and get it signed, get her
Yeah.
signed, because I'm gonna reach out to her tomorrow.
Or we agree,
Yeah,
and we'll get her something in writing.
so,
And I just want to, like, I was told there's some stormwater runoff issues and concerns, and that this gives us the ability to manage that property and to control that property, which is important. And so, again, I think I'm on board with that. I just want to state that I think it's a line because, you know, this is a public safety roads and township operation, but I see an advantage to having a deal coming in.
And protecting our existing property,
it is, and that's the big. That's the biggest thing that I think, so we will always retain the rights if it runs up to our park. So I'll go ahead and make a motion with the administrative recommendation that we give Mr. Brett the authority to negotiate the contract at 4076 East Miami River Road.
All right, Mr. Boria?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
and that's all I have for the evening, unless you have something to do.
Well, we've got this crossover where we don't want to talk about
I'm
that.
sorry, I skipped right over that, it was the very first thing on the list.
It was.
Yeah,
That's kind of
yeah,
important.
kind of like the biggest fish on the.
Every year.
Every year, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we have our proposed one from Strasser for the year. And, last year we cut back on what we had them do. And, so we're doing a little catch up this year, because we had some other road work to do last year. We're gonna have some other road work other than this year. The new subdivision going in at the end of Indian Trail is just really tearing up the road. We're gonna have to do something with that. We did the concrete pier wall on Whispering Farms last year. And knew we needed to wait a year to make sure that everything settled and there wasn't any more slippage. So we're gonna have to find a couple proposals on that to see what people recommend. And as a matter of fact, the lady from Strasser, who is their sales rep, used to be with the Kentucky Department of Transportation. She is gonna go out and make a recommendation on it. She doesn't have a product for it, but she's gonna give us an opinion on what she would do if it was hers. So, I just, as I explained to Mr. Bland earlier, I didn't want to do something on that road that was just gonna continue to slide. So, you know, if we can get by with just an overlay, that'd be great. If we have to mill it and redo it to keep it from sliding, there's no sense in putting another inch of blacktop on it and have it slide over the hill. It's just wasted money, so.
We need to have discussions with her.
Yeah. Got it. Dan is somewhat concerned over the recommendation and a variant on a product that we had used before. And she's recommending it. So before we actually sign this contract, he and I are gonna get together with her and talk about that product. Also, in Strasser's defense, you guys have used them since well before I was there. Yeah, their pricing is a state minimum bid. So
In years, we put out for bids and they were the only ones that did. I mean, it went on, way back.
Right.
So there's not many big companies that come out and.
We got a statement of.
They had-
Yeah, right.
they had a couple areas from last year that we weren't happy with. And she looked at them and she's gonna take care of those. And I also gave her a couple areas from the year before that Ron Miller was not happy with. And they're going back and they're taking care of those at no cost to us. So they are standing behind their work. I think that's important when you're going with just state minimum pricing, is that you have a company that's gonna stand behind their work. And I think they're doing that for us. So.
All right, any discussion?
So since you brought up Whispering Farm, I appreciate you guys doing your due diligence to make sure it's not slipping anymore, but as of right now, there's not any issues, is that correct?
It's not getting any worse,
Yeah.
but it needs fixed.
Well, we had, with the work we have to finish on, we repaired them this week. And this is just the road surface.
Right.
So we're gonna talk to her, meet with her and see what she recommends, so.
Okay.
But we don't waste money, they go back in 2 years and have to mill and grind and everything.
I will probably get yours, and that's big enough that they might be interested in doing. I'll probably get them to come out and give me a recommendation as well, so we get two.
Yeah.
And then we can get a couple different prices. And by the way, the work that would need to be done there is not something that Strasser does, so she's just gonna give us her independent opinion.
Right.
So she's not gonna make any money off of it, so.
Okay, and then you said that there was some question about what kind of product was being used in one of the areas.
Well, what Jim mentioned is called the chip seal.
Right.
Now, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong on this, that they used to just use chips by themselves, would create a lot of dust and tracking in people's houses and driveways, and now they're coated, I understand.
They're using recycled blacktop instead of crushed limestone that's supposed to be washed and
With the coating on them,
placed.
there's not like a coating or not?
Oh, yeah, the old blacktop.
It's a lot cleaner.
Well, because that's what I was going to bring up. I mean, especially where we bring up Pickway and some other areas where things transition from one jurisdiction to another jurisdiction, and inevitably, you know, I've heard it before, and I'm sure you guys have as well. So you know, I trust that you guys will do the due diligence on that to the extent that we can try to communicate with our residents. I know that that's hard because there's a lot of roads, you know, projects going on, like cut down on those heights, because I know sometimes they come back and do a second, you know, the second seal and all that, but people freak out and say, oh, well, you know, this is what you're.
There will be a second code that goes with this, and
And it's,
one of the things that she's agreed to do is, with the new system we have in this room, we should be able to sit down and just have her explain to me how the system's gonna work and what their time frame will be. We're also putting in the contract this year that, they will come back within a certain amount of time and sweep the road initially, and then come back again and sweep it again, so we will see how that stands probably. But, we're gonna sit down and just have that conversation and record it, and then put it out on our website.
So
And I'll send it to the
social media, website, newsletter, and those
Yeah,
things. to try to help educate folks.
We'll send that to the homeowners association, so that they can see what it is. And I think that will help them understand and not be as concerned. If they know somebody's coming back in 7 to 10 days, put that final code on it, they will think of, wow, this is all I'm getting. And so I think that'll be helpful this time.
Great. Okay,
Discussion? All right. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the cost of the road work for Miami Township for 2025 at $421,983.09.
Second?
Mr. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
So, and this will all be paid for out of TIP money, so none of it is coming out of general fund money. I just thought we should make that note. We should be.
So, and I wanted to comment also, so on the road work, so besides that, our curb and inlets will work, our curbs and inlets we'll be working on this summer. Well, I got Wayne marking them, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you about that, but I think
He talked to me about it.
So we got a grant from the Youngstown County Engineers for $32,500. The city just sent the invoice. I filled out the application last year. We're gonna look at it. So we're gonna use up what needs to be repaired only up to $32,500. So that won't be coming. It's gonna be coming out of that grant. So that's a win-win for us. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Bud, sorry.
This time I think I did cover everything on the list.
You did. All right, anything from the public, Mr. Moreland?
Yeah, I have quite a few things actually.
Okay, yeah, if you would, I appreciate it.
Very one, 5612 Gilmore Road is where I live. Got a couple things here. I'll start out with the administrator's report. That he signed with all the villages. But he never said how much it's for and the length of the fund. Am I correct?
Each contract.
We've got an agreement.
I didn't,
The agreement, how much is the agreement with Addison, I guess?
oh, I see, Cleats and North Bend.
Yeah, how much?
Okay.
Do they vary in price?
They
What they're
do.
paying? What do they pay?
And you wanna get them a copy?
Well, I just thought we could say it out
We can
loud.
give you copies.
Yeah, because they're gonna go up each year, they're 5-year increasing, each jurisdiction's a little bit different, some have them, Cleve starts at like 360.
Is that an increase of than what it was in the
Yeah, they
past?
were paying 252.
Okay. So all three of them definitely have increased.
Mhm.
Okay, and it's up to 5 years.
Yeah, but then, Addison went from 40 to 62.5,
Okay.
and then, North Bend was 189 to
258 change.
yeah, 258 change from 259, that's much better than on everything.
Okay, the next thing I got here, we just approved a contract with Strasser for road work for 2025 resurfacing for close to $422,000. But I didn't hear no linear footage, or a quarter of a mile, half mile.
It's broken down, we can give you a copy of it.
But I mean, shouldn't that be brought out in the streets? Do we have the streets picked out?
Yeah, we do. We got all the streets picked out, the elite picked out, the distance, everything.
So then you notify them homeowners?
We will.
Or it's up to the contractor?
Strasser notifies them, that's what Mike and Mr. Rosen was talking about.
They-
We put it on the website, and Facebook, and notify people that we put door hangers on the doors. So then we're-
I understand.
Barry, one of the things they didn't do last year, they did not notify us when they were coming to do the first area. And the trustees were getting calls going, why are there no parking?
And I understand that, because it's a messy situation.
No, we're not gonna let them do that this year. They're
The
gonna
other
notify
thing
us.
is, as many years I've been coming here, I don't ever understand, we don't do much paving. Bill and pave, Green Township and the other ones. Is it due to cost, or we just don't think it's necessary? We're always carring and chipping. I know it's been done here for multiple years. But I never noticed anything like we're gonna actually grind and pave and put an inch and a half on a certain street.
We haven't done it in the last couple of years, but I know we did it 3 years ago and 4 years ago. Because I know we did it off of, Secretariat back there, Triple Crown, and another road there, we did that. And we've been, it's very costly.
It is,
It's very
I understand.
So we're trying to get, and this chip seal gets us 5 to 8 more years out of the road that we're using the Strasser. So that's, we're using that when we can by the recommendation of Strasser, and then we're milling and repaving when we have to.
Okay,
But with the upcoming construction that you're anticipating, it's probably the best solution.
It's probably best to what?
You were talking about the upcoming, construction. And that is the best option. That would not be.
And it's, yeah, it would be way more expensive. So
Right.
we're trying to get the best bang for the buck for Miami Township residents is what we're trying to do. So when we get to it, and when we absolutely have to, then we
that's fine.
And I think to answer her question, we looked at McFermin and initially the Strasser rep thought, well, maybe, and then she saw how many homes were left to be built. And she was like, if you put my product down, you're just going to be throwing it away because you're just going to keep having this trouble until they get finished there. So when they get finished, that's going to be one that we're going to have to either mill and I don't remember what the process is called, where they mill and replace with the same product, put more just of the binder with it, or whether they'll mill it, carry it away, and bring in new blacktop, which isn't new anymore. They use recycled material in there.
And I just want to bring this up, we're back talking about the water fill station, and we've been talking about that for quite some time, and we had disagreements on where it was gonna go. And you brought up the remark that we're moving forward, but you never brought up where forward's gonna be. You have a location, but we're still looking.
We do, and they did the survey work on the extension for West Park. It'll be at I guess would be the north end of West Park. If you've seen the plans when Bear Becker was here for that expansion. Basically at the upper right end of the parking lot, it'll be at that end. And there's some existing taps there for the neighboring properties, so that's where we would ask them to put the tap for us for that.
But with that being said, we're gonna cut back on the fill station to make it cheaper. Do we have a rough number of what cheaper is? But you were up in the 40s to 50,000 at one time with the reading card station, am I correct?
No, we were more like 80,
Okay, so we are down to what?
40s, and 50s.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, and this might be something the township could consider. This is just my gut feeling. And maybe you can't even do it. We're putting this water fill station in for a few residents. And I'm saying a few residents because that's my assumption of coming to these meetings. That's basically the George Road people. I'm not saying other people wouldn't use it, but basically that is for those people. They need water. But we are in the process of trying to get a water main up that road, and it's taking time, and I understand the process. It can be difficult. But I'm thinking as a citizen here, we're dealing with 4 or 5 homes. Is there any way the township could make an agreement with them citizens and say, hey, listen, instead of us spending $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 on a water fill station, can we deliver water to their house? And the township pay for it 5 or 6 months, 7 months or a year till we get this water? And the township paid for it for them, had a water company deliver it to them for $100 a load. Has that ever been considered, or you can't do that in the township?
I don't know if we can.
Legally,
I don't.
because
know.
someone else might say, hey, you're doing for them.
Right.
But these people don't have water, it's 2025.
Right. Well, that's why the water line is so critical. 'Cause
Exactly, but I'm thinking in the long term, if you call them,
Fire protection.
we all know them, I don't know if I name it, resident. You know, how much water do you use? You call Henry's Water Service and they can go right up and
Kind of like,
put it, I mean, has anybody ever thought of that? We might do something for $5,000 versus $40,000 and never hardly use it once water line is up there.
Yes, sure. I'm sure we can look at it too.
I've thought about it, but it's been also beyond frustrating to have all the delays of the Jordan Road, you know, the water, of not knowing what in the world is going on with that. If we had some certainty about that, if we knew exactly when we're going to get that done, then I think it'd be easier to say, you know what, we only need to provide for 4 months, or 5 months, or 9 months, or 12 months, or 18, you know, whatever else, I don't know. But it's.
Kick it around, guys, but I think kicking it around is all of you. And the last thing, the $32,000 that you just got the grant for from the catch basins, is that gonna be done by a contractor or a township people?
Contract.
Because that'll go up.
The curb work
And the last thing I want to say, whoever did the fire thing, put the newsletter out, kudos to them, that was just, you hit it on the head. Explaining that, with the fund and that. I don't think you could explain it any better, so if you guys did that or the chief, you nailed it.
collaboration.
Other than that, thanks for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Williams, you have anything?
Well, my computer's Windows 10. It keeps on saying free upgrade for Windows 11. Is that a possibility for our computers as well?
Some computers won't.
It said as long as you have a legitimate Windows 10 license that meet the requirements, they say that the upgrade is free.
Yeah, we'll probably leave that there.
That's, it depends on the computer because
Right, it
Mine-
says that you have the requirement.
I get that same message at home and mine is not, I just call computer wizards in Harrison because that's who I use. And, they looked up by the serial number and said, bad news, yours isn't gonna make the upgrades, and sometime between now and then you need to do that. And then I had
I'm just curious.
yeah. So we've
It
looked
depends
at
on the requirements on your computer.
some of the computers we have will upgrade to Windows 11. So some just won't.
Okay, we'll save money on the license.
Right. Yeah. Anybody else have anything? All right, anything from the board, Mr. Williamson?
Well, I just want to piggyback to reiterate, I think this is a great newsletter. Special thanks to Ms. Day for the efforts, but really, I think everybody pulled together. Brett, I think that this is a very informative newsletter, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. Obviously, we have some of our events coming up, extravaganza on April the 12th from 10 to 11:30. Drug Take Back Day, April 26th from 10 to 2, and Shred Day on May 3rd from 12. So hopefully get good attendance and good weather, which is cooperates.
All right.
Mr. Warren? A couple of things. Number one, ambassador meeting tomorrow night. It's going to be loaded with information. Love to see people here. I know it's not always easy, especially with pouring down rain and monitors, but if there's questions about the fire levy tomorrow night would be a good time to get them answered. And then number two, with all the village contracts getting taken care of here now, I also would like to thank Mr. Brett, spent a lot of time on this. I know Kim spent time on this, our legal people spent time on this. This was a big undertaking, and we got it done, and I do appreciate Kim, you've been sitting in some late meetings trying to get some things resolved, so thank you for going above and beyond.
Really stressful.
Yes.
Ms. Osher, do you have anything? Mr. Brett?
No.
You're finished? I don't have anything. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Bullrich?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Very good.